So if you've been watching the channel for the past couple of weeks, you know that we've had some horrible couple of weeks. Okay, I mean, I'm not talking about just the boxes them alone, you know what I mean, where we hit a high point. That's 100% on me. Okay, but I'm talking about working the load board and stuff like that. So in this video, we're gonna cover the past couple weeks, where we've been and how much we made. So we went from Las Vegas to Salt Lake, from Salt Lake to Denver. We did a couple of things in Salt Lake, and then we went to Denver, dropped off in Denver, went to Cathy, Texas, dropped off in Cathy, Texas. From Cathy, Texas to San Antonio, Texas, we dropped off over there as well. And then we pick up in Dallas area, a small short run, and then to Tyler, Texas. From Tyler, Texas into Fort Worth, back to Fort Worth, Texas. We picked up a forklift again over there, took it to the Oklahoma area, and in the Oklahoma area, after we dropped that off, we picked up in El Reno. From El Reno, we pick up another one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, went to drop off those two forklifts in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then from Indianapolis, within the Indianapolis, we did one run over there. That's a little short run, and then now we're on this run, which is going to Kansas. We are here now in the Kansas City area. We got two drops here in Kansas City, and then we are going to be going to Omaha, Nebraska. So we're going to cover all of that, right? We're not going to be done with this load until probably Monday afternoon or so, you know. So with all of that, we will be running a total of 4,704 miles. That's not a lot of miles when you're talking about we ran, that's in 17 days, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be a total of 17 days. So our gross on that is actually 12,350 in all miles. We are making $2.62 a mile, and we average about all of the miles, we average about 6.8 on the MPG, and we used 691 gallons. And when you multiply that on an average of $3.10, actually it's probably lower than that, but we're gonna go ahead and do it at $3.10. We are looking at $2,144 in fuel used. And when you divide that to our gross, we are looking at 17% in fuel usage. See, this is why I always say you have to plan for the long haul. Okay, you have to, when you're in trucking, if you're in trucking, and if you're running a trucking, you know, business or whatever, you have to plan for the long term. Okay, no matter how short term you're gonna be in trucking, because just those number alone, that's still a good number. Even though it seemed like such a horrible week, those are still good numbers, because the truck is working a lot less, and we're still staying within under 20% fuel, you know what I mean? And yeah, granted, we're not making that much money in terms of time wise, but those are still amazing numbers. Now if you can add like a couple more thousand on top of that gross, we're sitting pretty. Now when you apply how much of a headache we actually had running, you know what I mean, how bad it was, you know, being stuck in Texas, doing this, doing that, and you know, we actually had a lot of time not doing anything, you know. Yeah, we're on the load board a lot, but you know, the truck is just sitting, you know what I mean? So that's actually, those are not bad numbers. I think if you add 2 more thousand, another couple grand into that, those are amazing numbers. You know, if we can sustain, like maintain that, you know, trajectory like that, I'd be happy with that until, you know what I mean, things pick up or whatever, right? So those are not bad numbers, to be honest with you, you know. But it seemed like it's all that bad because like how much headache we gotta go through to get those numbers, you know what I mean? That's really the only thing. That's why, like, even I even say, like, you know, if I have to work that hard physically and mentally, it's okay, as long as the equipment is staying still and not working as hard. That's okay, because without the equipment, you know what I mean, we can't pull the doggone load ourselves, you know what I mean? We can't disconnect from the doggone trailer and pull it ourselves, you know. So anyway, that's why I say I have to always plan for the long haul, you know what I mean? Also, I feel like some carriers that, you know, that are hauling these rates at these, you know, the average rates that are being posted on the load board, they don't know their worth, man. Like this week we worked really hard physically, just picking up this load. I mean, I was outside for like an hour and a half, you know, maybe an hour, you know what I mean? Just trying to get this thing secured properly, you know, in the rain, and it's pouring down rain, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking like little drizzle or whatever. He was pouring down rain. My boots were wet, you know what I mean? My whole clothing was wet, you know, so it's just, you know, we work physically hard, you know what I mean? Like as me, if you apply my situation, you know what I mean, into somebody who's a company driver, you know what I mean, like we do a lot of work on top of, you know what I mean, what a company driver is. And if you guys watched a few videos ago, I was talking about like that trajectory, and it looks like it's gonna go down from that trajectory, but that that trajectory in July, I said that we're gonna be around 100K after everything, you know what I mean, in trucking, around 100K, barely over 100K. That's, don't get me wrong, that's good money, but I feel like I feel like still that we are not compensated enough, you know. Look at that bad boy right there. See, that's, if I was to get a long hood, it would be something similar to that setup right there. That looks like a 359 look, and I like that kind of look, you know. I'm getting ready to work on this thing, right? I think I can gain a couple more inches out of that, right? The doors are destroyed, but I think I can fix them, you know. You see this part right here, this is where the bad engineering on this thing is, you know, on the box itself. If you look right there, you need about 1.5 inches right there of clearance just to be able to operate this thing, you know. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of all of this, right? Same thing for the bottom. That's the one that hits the most, you know. So we're gonna get rid of all of that, and then we're gonna put some kind of a latching system on it to where it's not, you know, we only latch it from right here instead, you know. So we will see how that's gonna work out, but I think I can gain just a few more inches out of that, you know. Like if I can get it to where like right there, I think we're gonna be okay, because this thing barely touches, man. When we're up in the air, we barely touch, you know. I think I'm also gonna be getting a riser in the future, not right now. I'm gonna get like a 10-inch riser on that, and it's gonna keep this thing right now when I'm aired up. This thing, see, when I'm aired up, this thing is sitting at about 35 inches, and the back is sitting at about 36 inches, which I think 36 inches is where you want to be. So that should give us a lot of clearance when it comes to, you know what I mean, high points. See, we've been okay for the past 5 months, right? And also these right here, it's just bad engineering overall, right? Just like, you know, they told me at Dorsey that they've done thousands of these, okay, installs, this whole same set the same way, you know. And I find that hard to believe that they haven't ran into somebody who's running low pros, you know, like 22.5 low pros. So anyway, this one needs to be modified as well, you know. And they need to go up, I say, because they do drag. Like when you get to that high point, you know, this is the lowest point right here, actually, where this is, you know, this part right here, because the distance, you know what I mean, that, you know, you got that band, and that distance, that's where the high point is gonna hit, you know. Believe it or not, actually the frame hasn't hit. Like if you look, there's nothing wrong. Like the frame hasn't scratched, you know what I mean. So we've been okay, you know, the way we've been doing things. It's just that I think just a little bit more modification on these things, we're gonna be fine, you know. So we're gonna end the video here. Despite all the complaining I've been doing the past couple videos, right, we still did okay. I'm still happy with those numbers, believe me. Like I said, I wish it was a couple more thousand above, what we actually gross, but that's okay. This is where we are. This is what we got. So all we gotta do is, you know what I mean, keep fighting, keep moving forward, keep fighting. We're gonna get there. I know that was a bad week, so we will see. Hopefully, it doesn't get any more worse than that. If it does, that's okay. We're gonna accept it, and we're gonna see how we can improve from there. So anyway, we will see you guys in the next video.